until the November 11th game against the New York Giants, Boone.
All right, Mort, thank you very much. Still ahead here on Monday Night Countdown. The Patriots have gathered moss, and they're rolling. How do you defend one of the most effective weapons in the game? And Keyshawn and Bill read and react to Sunday's biggest stories. What's wrong with the Chargers? How about them Bears? We'll be back.
Whiteboard Breakdown, delivered by UPS. What can Brown do for you?
And there he is, Tom Brady. Warming up tonight for the Patriots. Can they run it to 4-0, enjoying three other teams that are there undefeated through 4 weeks of the season? And of course, a lot of his passes this year have gone to Randy Moss. How about this? 22 of 25 on throws to Moss alone for over 400 yards. 16 yards an attempt, 5 touchdowns. Moss only had 3 last year with the Raiders. Tonight, Moss can make history. No receiver has ever had 100 yards receiving in each of his first 4 games with his new team. Now to tonight's UPS Whiteboard Breakdown. Coach Parcells shows us how to defend Randy Moss.
The Bengals got a little problem tonight with number 81, Randy Moss. Now, there are a couple of ways they can approach him. The first way would be to zone number 81. Keyshawn's the split end. Tom's the free safety. I'm the corner. On the snap, I'm going to roll up, and I'm going to try to hit Keyshawn under the cantilever of the shoulder pads and tip him off balance if I can, and then stop in the flat. Tom will go over to the outside third. We've got a short and long zone coverage on him. Okay, come on back, Key. The least zone coverage we would use would be a cover 2, where I come up again, try the same jam, lift him, hit him high, and the safety, Tom, will work down the hash line. Not quite as good because there's a hole back in here that he can get into, and he's pretty nifty doing that. There are 2 other things we have to contend with. Now we want to play him man-to-man. I'm going to fake like I'm rolling down to 81. This time we're going to double 81. He comes off, I'm going to the outside. If he goes in, Tom comes and takes him. I go over the top to back up Tom in case he gets beat. If he goes out, I drive hard to his outside shoulder. Tom backs up. One problem we got. The Patriots don't always cooperate and leave Moss in the same spot. They might put him across in motion. Double 81. Tom stays there. Double-double to the other safety. Now I become the inside defender, and the safety on that side comes down to the outside. Keyshawn goes flat, safety drives, I go over the top. Keyshawn comes back underneath, I drive, safety goes over the top. They got big problems with this guy, but you can't let him run free. You've got to hit him and let him know, I'm not getting off the line tonight free.
Yeah, you got to have hands on.
Push him inside, push him down to the linebackers. Places that he does not like to go is inside the middle of the field.
Try to catch him right on the edge of that shoulder pad, Key, and tip him up like that.
That never happened to me, though.
No, I know you're so fast.
Boom. Coach doing some coaching. Coming up, the touchdown record is his alone. How far can Brett Favre carry the pack? And the only team to go undefeated, the 72 Miami Dolphins. Should we even go there? Monday, I know, I'm with you. Monday Night Football at the bottom of the hour.
Greatest celebration of all time. People all over the world can't wait to see what's going to happen.
You know what, I told you I would give you a show. I gave you a show with the opportunity they gave me. Look forward to everything else, especially next week in Cleveland. I got a good one for you.
He's going into the dog pound. Yes, he is.
You're going to love it.
Well, hopefully just play football tonight because they need him to concentrate. They need the Bengals to concentrate to score some points. He's certainly very capable. Chad Johnson said that that's what he would do. Hey, we're 1-2. We're just trying to get on the win board. First time since opening day. Now, read and react. Coach and Keyshawn, we're going to do a little highlight. We're going to roll here on some things from yesterday. And that fair enough? I mean,
sure, I'm with you, man.
Yeah,
let's go.
Why not?
Let's go about a couple of teams that are really shocking everybody, starting with their fans and their coaches, and that would be the Chicago Bears. They get back in it, they hope, but the Bears give up the most points in the fourth quarter ever. 34 points in Detroit to beat him 37-27. Brian Griese's first start, not good. Tommy showed this a while ago. Derek Johnson, he's everywhere. They hit on Phillip Rivers. Tyron Myra Brackenridge picks up the ball and is gone 50 yards. And the Chiefs upset the Chargers 30-16. Comment on that one. If the Chiefs look like the determined team in the second half, the way LJ, et cetera, was running the ball. So Bears and Chargers are 1-3. They had the best record in football in their conferences last year. Who's a bigger surprise, biggest shock to you?
Well, to me, it's the Chargers. 2 years ago, they won 12. Last year, they won 14. All right. They had a pretty good offensive line, top running game, developing young quarterback, and a defense that was pressuring the quarterback all the time. And it looked like to me they were in place. The defense was youthful, in place for a long time. And so it's the biggest shock.
And I probably would say the Chargers as well, and for the same reasons. If you think about it, they were 14-2 a year ago. Marty Schottenheimer had them rolling in the right direction to get to the Super Bowl. In comes A.J. Smith, in comes Norv Turner, out goes Schottenheimer. Now all of a sudden, who's to blame? Who you looking at? If it's me and I'm the owner, I'm looking at A.J. Smith. Then I'll turn my sights on Norv Turner.
Where's the attitude here on the team? I don't see it.
I don't know. You know, it seems like they got the excuses built in here now. There's too much, you know, something in place. There's definitely something missing. It's not the same team we saw last year.
And looking at LaDainian Tomlinson, he caught a pass on the sideline yesterday. 2 yards, he could have picked up maybe 5. He went directly out of bounds. And his body language to me, being a former player, says, you know what? I'm sick and tired of this.
Well, good news for them is the first place. Everybody is only 2-2. They're only a game behind. Good news for Green Bay Packer fans. Brett Favre and the Packers have won 8 straight, 4 last year and 4 this year. And, of course, Favre to Greg Jennings. Zing! Still throws it. 4-21 career touchdown passes. He's number 1 all-time, as everybody knows. And up to the stands with Deanna, his wife, and family and friends, and it's awesome. And then, oh, by the way, we need a touchdown late to cement the game against the Vikings. Here it's coming. I swear it. Here it is. And it's Favre, zing, to James Jones. He still has the zip. So the question, how far can the Packers go, fellas? They're 4-0.
I think they can go as far as Brett Favre takes them. You know, they can win the division. Obviously, they have that chance, Coach, to win this division. And then once they get some home field advantage in the Lambeau late in the year, that'll be a plus on their side.
Well, what I like about what the Packers are doing right now, fellas, is this. They're playing good defense, but the thing I'm a little worried about, they're in an all-pass mode right now. If you look at the history of this franchise, going back, when they're championship teams, Horning and Taylor, Edgar Bennett and Dorsey Levens, even Amon Green, they had a good running game. Now, when this weather changes in Green Bay and the wind starts blowing and it gets real cold, that passing percentage is going to go down, and you're going to need something to take its place. Now, late in the season, you know, Key, if you went up there, you'd have to have your little muffler on and your hands in it and 2 hand warmers. We'd have to be changing the battery.
They'll be fine in the running game. You know, defensive players, those linebackers won't tackle in the snow and the cold. You know that.
Right. Wins buy you time. And the more wins you get, that running game and the defense could be a little better because they got some maneuverability there. Meanwhile, Baltimore Ravens against Cleveland didn't show that D. Derek Anderson to Kellen Winslow, 25 yards. The Ravens fell to the old Browns, fell to the new Browns. Here's Anderson to Jaravicious for a touchdown. And then Derek Anderson going over the top here. Watch this now. 79 yards. And Braylon Edwards, there's nobody there. And the Browns crushed the Ravens 27-13. What's wrong with the Ravens defense, Guy? The vaunted Ravens defense.
Well, I think they're getting a little older at certain positions. I mean, not all of them, but certain positions, they are getting a little older. And I think the offense, obviously, are not helping this team. I mean, that's just the bottom line. The genius just not doing a good job of calling plays, and that would be Brian Billick himself.
You know, I think we look back to what the Ravens have been on defense, and we just assume it's going to be the same. You know, they're in the bottom third on takeaways, they're in bottom third on sacks, and they lead the league in penalties. And I agree with Keyshawn. I think there's a little age and maybe a little condition. They've given up some leads at the end of the game. People have closed back down on them a couple of times, and I don't like that sign right there.
When you play that hard and that proud for that long, I'm not saying it, but sooner or later, right, you're going to see something.
Well, and the other teams, they spend the Ravens are standing people up all over the field here, confused a lot of people last year. They had all off-season to look at that stuff now, and they're blocking that a lot better than they did a year ago.
They better get somebody on that offense fast to help that defense, and I think that's where they need to start. They need to start offensively.
Ravens are 2-2. Well, the Patriots got somebody on their offense pretty darn fast, and that would be Randy Moss. Throw it up between defenders. He and Tom Brady have been quite a duo, quite a trio in the booth of Monday Night Football. Mike Tirico kicks us off.
Chris, thank you, and we welcome you to Cincinnati. Perfect night for a game, and the guys were just talking about Randy Moss and some of the teams like the Packers, some of the undefeated teams so far in the NFL, and here we are with 4 remaining, including the Patriots. I guess, Jaws, we should stop and realize it's early in the season, number one, and secondly, the 3 teams the Pats have beaten have won a total of 3 games. But let's look tonight and down the road. What kind of team can give the Patriots a tough game, if not beat them?
Well, when you look at this Patriots defense, they clearly haven't played against an offensive team that I would call explosive. When you look at the Chargers, the Bills, and the Jets, they're more sustaining style offense. Tonight, they will see a passing attack that likes to attack deep down the field. When you look at Cincinnati, they have 14 pass plays of 20 yards or more. So Carson Palmer does have the big, strong arm, and he has the wide receiving core that can attack down the field. When you have a Chad Johnson and a TJ Houshmandzadeh, you have outstanding route runners that can attack outside the numbers and work the sideline. So you can look forward to watching an aggressive passing attack tonight from the Cincinnati Bengals. But I think the key is going to be Kenny Watson. He's the guy who'll be starting in the running back position in place of Rudy Johnson. Rudy Johnson was more of a sustaining style power runner. When you have a Kenny Watson, he's an outstanding receiver. I think you'll see Carson Palmer use him in the short check down game, kind of more of a sustaining back in the passing game.
Okay, no Rudy Johnson, as you probably know at this point, no Lawrence Maroney for Bill Belichick and the Patriots, and that's welcome news. And any good news about somebody else's injuries, welcome news from Marvin Lewis, the Bengals coach. It has not been an easy start to this season.
No, it has not. If you count the last 16 games, the Bengals are 6-10. If you count just the last 6, they're 1-5. And maybe in another city, maybe in a Dallas, maybe in New York, there would be heat on Marvin Lewis because he's had some 8-8 seasons as well. But there's no heat on him in Cincinnati because there was no hope for this franchise before Marvin Lewis got here. The 5 previous years to Marvin Lewis coming, they were 4-12 on the average. He has given them hope where there was none. He's gotten them to the playoffs. They had not been there before. And to be fair, he's making money here. They're selling out this stadium, and it is a cash-poor franchise. The previous coaches right before Marvin, a bunch of hooday, if you know what I mean.
The way their results came out, you're exactly right. It's a interesting night for the Bengals. They don't want to talk about moral victories by hanging with the Patriots because they need it in the AFC North, but it may be tough and a tall order for them here this evening. See you here in a little bit for the kickoff. Now across the stadium to Stu.
Mike, as you know, every year, Bob Greasy, Jake Scott, Mercury Morris, Larry Zonka and company, they wait until the last team loses before they pop the cork in their champagne and celebrate being the only undefeated team ever, those 72 Dolphins. Is it ridiculous to think about the Patriots going undefeated right now already, guys?
What we've seen this year, absolutely not. They're winning by a huge margin, and they have all that talent. They're going to win their division. You look at Miami, Buffalo, and the Jets in that division. They're going to win their division by Thanksgiving. So they're going to have a whole month to kind of figure out how they're going to play out. And the only thing that keeps them, I think, in that undefeated mode is trying to get home field advantage. But that's tough when you've won your division so early.
Well, Steve, you talk about Spygate, you start talking about all these different things. As a player, that is motivation every week to go out here and play your very best. And right now, the Patriots are playing their very best football. And at the end of the day, when the season gets long down the road, next month, they got to go up against the Cowboys. They got to go up against the Steelers. And they also have to go up against the Colts. So it's a little too early to anoint them as an undefeated team. Dolphins don't have to worry about it just yet, but it will happen as they get closer and closer to December.
But I only think they lose because they self-inflict something. A letdown, an emotional letdown. Look, Randy Moss to this season so far is a 2-touchdown difference. You get in a game, in a close ball game against a great team, then where are you? You're down 2. I mean, you're on your back already. So I think that more than anything, if Randy Moss continues to play like this, these defenses are scared to play this team right now.
How tough is it to go undefeated? All you have to do is ask Tony Dungy and ask Peyton Manning. The Colts are the only team ever to have consecutive seasons where they started consecutive seasons 9-0. In 2005, they lost at 13-0. And in 2006, they lost at 9-0, and as Emmett said, they still got to play the Cowboys, the Colts, and the Steelers.
Mr. Goodell, you're going to see this. I love you. But Ocho got to have fun. Baby, I love you.
Up next, when Tom Brady's teammates call him overrated. What do you think they're talking about? You know they do say beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
This GOAT, honestly, this guy doesn't look excited at all. I mean, you can see where he's kind of turned away from him. He won't actually look directly at him. That's fear.
And getting to that time, so we're taking you inside the game as we scan Paul Brown Stadium to find your favorite stars. What do you have to know before you watch Monday Night Football? We are getting ready to school you as we get ready for the bottom of the hour.
Bruce opening up his tour tomorrow night in Hartford. Might have to go. Tom Brady, if he gets the day off, would go. Perhaps he would, but no days off for him in a football season. All work, and you see the way he has played. Well, this season, of course, Tom Brady can join Terry Bradshaw, Joe Montana, the only quarterbacks in NFL history to win 4 Super Bowls, which is pretty impressive, triumvirate. Here's another one. Along with Muhammad Ali and Michael Jordan, Brady is one of only 3 athletes to grace the cover of GQ's top 50 stylish men of the last 50 years. Esquire has also named him the best dressed male of the year. But we learned that in fashion, tough world now, your teammates don't always have your back.
Classic, sophisticated, sharp, rugged, stylish.
I think what's great about Tom's style is that it's understated.
Overrated.
He's efficient, he's effective, he doesn't try to overdo it. He doesn't go in for the flashy clothes, he doesn't go in for all the bling.
Rhinestones sometimes.
He's got a nice crisp white shirt on.
Tight-fitting, tight shirts. The other day I caught him wearing one of my shirts.
He's kind of fearless that way.
His belly button showing and stuff like that. Very tight jeans. I guess the way he likes the way he looks in the mirror in those jeans.
Brady's one of those guys, if you're casting a movie and you need the All-American quarterback, you cast Tom Brady. The hair parted on the side.
He's got the part in his hair going right now that, it doesn't look very good to me.
He's got the square jaw, the cleft chin.
I think it's a big butt in his chin.
And, the good eyes.
His eyes seem a little too wide apart.
You couldn't draw him up any better.
It's probably the makeup he wears.
When GQ put him on the cover, he went for everything. You had him coming out of the ocean, you had him holding the baby goat.
This GOAT, honestly, this guy doesn't look excited at all. I mean, you can see where he's kind of turned away from him. He won't actually look directly at him. That's fear.
He just goes for it, and he's not so concerned what anyone else thinks about it.
Not so much this one. Not so much. No, I'd rule this one out.
It's funny because he's got his hand on the belt with the other hand, right below the lip, and the cowboy hat.
I'm hoping somebody talked him into wearing that sweatshirt underneath his jacket.
Yes, he's wearing a hooded sweatshirt under a suit jacket, but, it's a stylish look. It's what the young and the hip guys are doing.
He's kind of just confused. I think he's trying to say, where am I?
Probably your blue steel here, if I was going to pick one. I'd go with that one.
Blue steel, Matt obviously has not watched Zoolander enough. Blue steel is much more...
That's sheer determination right there. Whatever's coming at him, he's got it.
Well, hey, let's just talk football for a minute, where he's awfully stylish. 75 starts or more since 1950. Only Darryl LaMonica, the Mad Bomber of the Oakland Raiders, has a better winning percentage than Tom Brady. Even better than Roger Staubach. Brady's 12-2 postseason mark added in. He's almost #1. So there you go. Steve, let's go out to you here for a minute. We miss you, buddy. How do you beat Tom Brady if you're in the defensive mode for a rare night?
Yeah, but I miss you guys too. Listen, how do you rattle Tom Brady? Well, you can't rattle him if you're going to give him all that time that he's had these first 3 games. I see defenses that are on their heels. They see Randy Moss running down the sidelines. They see Tom Brady with his efficiency. The only way you can rattle him, and I don't know how you do this, you've got to knock him down. You saw what happened to Peyton Manning when the Patriots did it to him consecutively a couple years ago. If you can knock him down and start to get to his mind that I got to get rid of the football, I got to throw a little bit off balance, now you've taken him out of his ball game. But you let him stand there back there like a statue. 3 games, he will kill you, and that's the same thing tonight. Keyshawn, I know that I rattled you from this desk when you were at Carolina, but how do you get rattled Tom Brady?
I scored and smiled on you. But I think one of the things that you have to do with him is you have to disrupt the timing of the wide receivers. You have to go at them, disrupt them physically at the line of scrimmage, push them out of bounds, put the hands on them. Then you have to turn your attention to Tom Brady. But that won't be easy because the offensive line that he has is awfully good. They're not celebrated. I think I know one guy, Matt Light, and that's because he's been on the team for quite some time. That's the only guy I know on this offensive line. If you can somehow get to him through that wall, then you're a really good defensive football team. But if you decide to send everybody, much like TJ and I talked about earlier today, you're going to be in trouble. You can send them all, but you got receivers that'll go deep on you. Then what you going to do? You're going to sit there and you're going to go, oh, well, what's next?
Well, look, defensively, I'm old school. We can always outnumber the offense. I don't care how good they are at the line of scrimmage. I can send enough people to get somebody by. You're going to have to give to get. And that means that we have to, in fact, send enough personnel to make sure that we make Tom Brady aware that he's in a football game. You watch these first 3 games of the season, there's a drill called 7-on-7. 7-on-7 exists without an offensive and defensive line. Quarterback knows he's not going to get hit. If Tom knows he's not going to get hit, then he is going to kill you. You have to make him aware. And maybe if I'm Cincinnati, I hope I score enough points to win a shootout with the New England Patriots.
Well, while you're watching this game tonight, take a look at the spot 4.5 yards to 5 yards behind where the New England center snaps the ball. And if Cincinnati doesn't consistently get people to that spot, Brady's going to wear them out.
Well, just to help out a little bit, that left side of the line is impressive. You met Dan Copen, who's a very good center in the piece there. Logan Mankins at the guard, Light at the left. Neal's been hurt at right guard. Kaiser is at right tackle. They're your guys. They do the job to allow them to get back 5 yards and hit. Well, let's get back out to the stadium now to Cincinnati. Squeeze one last. Teams at 20 report out of Sal Palantonio. Sal, little Advil today. I saw you with the Phillies yesterday. That had to be quite a scene.
It was quite a scene, Boomer. Quite a scene here tonight, too. Coach Bill Parcells talking about that 4.5 yards behind the line of scrimmage. That's exactly where Lawrence Moreeeee would be, but Tom Brady will be in Josh McDaniels' spread offense, shotgun offense, no huddle offense that creates natural running lanes, and that's why they don't think they have a problem with Moreeeee out, because Sammy Morris and Kevin Falk have done a nice job in those natural running lanes created by that offense. And they also have a new zone blocking scheme on the offensive line. So no Lawrence Moreeeee, not a big problem, Bob Holtzman.
Well, Sal, we can't wrap up the show without a Chad Johnson touchdown celebration update. 3 weeks ago when we were here for Monday Night Football, he broke out the gold Hall of Fame jacket after scoring. I just talked to him a couple of minutes ago. He told me he has nothing like that planned tonight. He said you can't celebrate when you're 1-2. But as he was walking away, he turned around and smiled and said, well, maybe I will have a little something. Chris, you just can't stop the entertainer in Chad Johnson.
All right, Bob. Thank you very much. Well, we'll see. Countdown to kickoff. Let's see who's warming up at Paul Brown Stadium. And, well, Tom Brady is warm, number 12. Tom, he's at the top of his game. Well, he just is.
He is a nightmare for any defense. He's prototypical in terms of his size. He's got a strong arm, a great knowledge of the game. He can make every throw that you want made from a quarterback. He's got the mentality of a champion. He's already won championships. He's been the MVP of the Super Bowl. And I think and maybe now he's got more weapons than anybody else in the league. You add all that together, boy, he is hard to beat, Bo.
Steve Young, Brady gets the GQ and Esquire magazine covers. How does Carson Palmer get a win over Brady tonight?
Well, I think he's got to drive the football down into the red zone 4 times tonight and not kick a field goal. He's got to put it into the end zone. You kick field goals tonight, you will lose to the Patriots. Carson has a tremendous amount of pressure as he carries the whole franchise on his back in many ways. He's very quiet, he's very subdued about his leadership, but he is a leader, and he's got to be careful because he's been pressing a little bit, trying to use that big arm of his to throw it into tighter spots. He cannot press tonight and start turning the ball over, or they will be in big trouble.
Well, Stevie certainly has big-time receivers, and certainly Tom Brady does now. Randy Moss, we showed you the numbers earlier this year, Key, and you, from before the season started, you said, watch out, it's going to be a great fit.
Well, I think he'll have a tremendous night tonight. It's a big-time Monday night game for him, but also the other receivers will be able to benefit off of this. You look at what Cincinnati's going to try to do to him. They're going to try to take him away, but the other guys, Wes Welker and Stallworth, will finally have some big games, some big yard games, and score a couple touchdowns. And I think Randy Moss is still out to prove to everybody that he is a good guy, TJ.
Well, speaking of wide receivers, Chad Johnson. Bill, what's lost is he's a big film study. He works hard at running his routes. He's a premier player.
And he's a very good athlete. He's got speed, he's got quickness, he's got good jumping ability, and he wants to go get the ball. So not only will he be competing against the New England cornerbacks tonight and the Patriot defense, I think he'll be in there trying to show up Randy Moss a little bit, because Moss is probably getting a little too much publicity to his satisfaction. This guy's a good player right here.
Teddy Bruschi led the Patriots in tackles for the first time last year. Yo, Emmett, what is the biggest reason why he is so important to them?
His heart. His heart is big, and this man is a great leader for this defensive unit. He's been anchoring this spot since he got to the Patriots for 12 years now. This guy also has 13 total tackles this whole season. He's just a guy that's going to be there solid for you week in and week out. He brings everything. He brings his helmet, his lunch pail. He come to work every week. So Teddy Bruschi is the anchor of this defense and will lead this charge throughout this Patriots season.
All right, guys, just minutes to go before kickoff. Only thing left to do is make our picks. Tom, like the Patriots, undefeated. Then a high-octane showdown on Monday Night Football.
Always inspirational. The national anthem. Just played it here at Paul Brown Stadium. Everybody in the stadium standing at attention. The lead pipe lock standings. Tom Jackson a perfect 3-0. We in Tommy's crib. Tommy lives here in Cincy. Boom 2-1. Emmett, Keyshawn, and I are 1-2. And well, Bill's not really 0-3. He's 0-2. The Weasel, Bill's best friend Seth, is 0-1. Steve also stuck at 0-3. All right. Go ahead, Emmett. Step out there. Step out there and pick the Bengals. Go ahead, dog. No pressure. Go ahead. Pick them, Emmett.
Patriots, too much offense, too much defense, too much of a better all-around ball club.
When you're struggling picking games and you want to get back on track, you pick the Patriots to win. No going away.
The Cincinnati Bengals are 6-0 when they're wearing their orange jerseys. They're wearing their orange jerseys tonight. And they're going to be 6-1 after tonight. Go with the Patriots. All right, Mr. Perfect, TJ, what do you think?
I'm going to go against the hometown team. Grudgingly, I'm going to pick the Patriots.
I mailed my absentee ballot to the Weasel again this week. He returned it promptly, and he suggested that I select the Patriots. I'm abstaining. The Weasel's taking the Patriots.
Well, you know what I'm going to do.
Moss!
I'm taking Moss.
Well, they like his football smarts. That's what people forgot to ask about. But, I mean, look, they score 38 points every week. So what is it caught up in you? 38 special? New England 38, the Cincinnati 21. But, you know, that we're just on the verge of such a great time in sports. The postseason baseball is upon us. Do we want to take a shot at that? You're a big baseball guy, Bill. What do you think of the World Series?
Well, my father gave me one of the great axioms I've lived with. Never bet against the New York Yankees.
That's it.
That's just a 60-year axiom I've been living by.
Well, if your dad gave it to you, go with it. Key, what do you think?
I'm staying home. I'm going with the Angels. I got to go back home. Unlike TJ, he doesn't care. He didn't pick Cincinnati.
I care. You know. So we're all taking the Patriots.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What about baseball? You get out of that with baseball.
I like the Yankees. I like a winner. I like the Yankees.
Who are my football picks? New England and Philly?
Yeah.
Boston and the Phillies, the Red Sox.
There you go.
There
you go.
You just took two teams?
Well, it's one in each league.
Oh.
I just picked the World Series.
I'll
worry about that when we get there.
No limits.
America's vote on tonight's game. Now, remember, a little history lesson here. In 1972, McGovern took Massachusetts. Nixon took the other 49. But tonight, not even the Bengals can get Ohio.
It's not going to change.
It's 50-0.
It's not going to change, is it?
Not yet. They're going to play the game. Well, hey, look, hope you had fun for Tommy and for Coach and for Keyshawn and for Mort. I'm Chris Berman, all of us at the stadium. Thanks for watching. We'll see you at halftime. But we have Monday Night Football, high octane. The Patriots, can they stay undefeated, or can the Bengals pull off a huge upset? Monday Night Football is next. Nobody circles Ralph Wilson Stadium like our ESPN cameras. For the first time in 13 years, Monday Night Football returns to Buffalo. The high-octane, undefeated Dallas Cowboys against the Buffalo Bills next on Monday Night Football.
Monday Night Countdown is delivered by UPS.
Very warm weather in Buffalo. Not the time, however, to go for a swim, even if you're near Niagara Falls. Grab your hot wings. We're shuffling off to Buffalo for a rematch of Super Bowls fast. Warm night upstate New York. The Bills welcome the NFC's only unbeaten team, headed by their young quarterback, and that would be Tony Romo. Been hotter than the weather, and headed on defense by their rough and tumble safety, Roy Williams. The Cowboys are there, the Bills are there, and an hour and a half Monday Night Football will be there as well. Hi, everybody, and happy Columbus Day. We are glad that you discovered Monday Night Countdown, 90 minutes to get you set for the Dallas Cowboys and the Buffalo Bills. Chris Berman here with our own versions of the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria. That would be Keyshawn Johnson. That would be Coach Bill Parcells. You used to coach these Cowboys? I remember that.
Long time ago.
Memory's starting to go, though, but I think you did.
Long time
Coach
ago.
Parcells will have some intriguing insights tonight on the team that he coached so well for the past few years. And Tom Jackson.
Boom.
Remember Bill coaching the Cowboys?
Yeah, it's a long time ago.
Mort will be with us shortly. Of course, our cast out at the stadium as well, a cast of thousands. We will have a very good time. Plus, the music tonight of Kid Rock. We get music of Jennifer Lopez, maybe a Texas two-step mixed in here or there for the Cowboys, and an odd polka for our friends in Buffalo. Well, let's look back, guys, at the first Sunday of football in October, Week 5. What stood out most for you yesterday?
Well, that was easy. I take my hat off to Chris Brown, the Houston Texans field goal kicker. 5 field goals, 2 of them 54 yards, and the game winner 57. That's a remarkable performance. We need to sign that guy up.
Sign him, we can win a lot of games.
Yeah.
A kicker.
Hey, sign him up. You're
First
going
time
to
it
win a
ever
lot of
happened.
games.
Yep.
That was remarkable.
Yeah, for me, I would probably say in 7 years out of my 11, this week of football was, I couldn't watch it. It was crazy. Teams couldn't score points. They couldn't win. It was the ugliest thing I've ever seen. And I know you, TJ, and Bill been around for a long time, a lot longer than me.
You have to always say that. Over the long term. No, that's good. That's good. Well, look, the football is awful. It's hard to watch. I think that some of the mistakes that we're seeing you would expect would be ironed out in the preseason no later than week 1. We're seeing it now going into the second quarter of the season. And number 2, if you are a player who is solely playing this game to make money, and the way that I can tell that is you play at a low level, your contract year comes up, you play at a high level. When I paid you the money, you go back to this low level of play. You know who you are. I don't have to name names. If you are doing that, find another vocation. Find another place where you can make $4 or $5 million in 6 months and do that. Don't play football because it's hard to watch.
Because you didn't play for the money, right?
I would have played for free. You wouldn't have, I know, but I would have played for free.
But I could have.
Well, you know what I saw yesterday? The time we watched the games together, of course, you did too. Attitude of a team. I know that's not XO, but attitude of a team, like Pittsburgh's attitude yesterday against Seattle. Awesome. Jacksonville's attitude is, hey, we're going to man up Kansas City. Larry Johnson, you're running nowhere. And finally, San Diego's attitude came into play, and maybe that'll get them started. We'll see. Attitude of a team really can spell W and L. Now, though, let's check in with our guys always with a good attitude. Steve Emmett, who might have a thought or two on the Cowboys, and Stuart Scott leading our Buffalo Soldiers from Ralph Wilson Stadium. Good evening, Stu.
Good evening, Boom. The Cowboys come in here. They are 4-0 for the first time since '95, which was the last of Emmett's 3 Super Bowl rings. Stop bragging, Emmett. Now, perfect day, like you mentioned here in Buffalo, 75 degrees, except right now we got rain coming in. So who's holding the umbrella for whom? One of the 3 of us.
I'm the youngest, y'all older. I guess
We're roughing it. We're at the stadium. Those guys are indoors. We're outdoors. We're roughing it. We're circling the wagons right here.
Don't pan up.
Where are you?
Don't
We're
pan
circling
up
the